Well, good evening, everybody. Tonight we're going to be roasting some coffee in an unpretentious way using common things that are super cheap and easy to find. When I first got into coffee roasting, I decided to go with the PopLite. I found one at Goodwill for $3.99. Then I outfitted it with a 29-ounce tomato can with the top and bottom removed and some screws to hold it into place. I also use a set of colanders. The little colander will go on the top to catch the chaff and to keep any little beanies from hopping away. The other two colanders I'll be using to help cool the beans. And of course you're going to need green beans. Any green coffee beans will do. You can get them on Amazon or wherever. But I order my coffee beans from sweetmarias.com. Step number 1, measure yourself out an exact, precise 2 handfuls of beans into your little contraption there. Good to go. Then I'm going to place my colander on the top and I'm plugging her in. Now the popcorn copper is going to do its thing. You can hear the beans kind of hopping around in there, and that's pretty cool. I like to give a little bit of a shake. Some people like to stir it, but that burns your hand, and then you have to find a metal rod or a nice wooden spoon or something, and that gets charred up. So this is kind of the lazy man's way of doing it, and that's just fine with me. The wisdom of only putting a couple handsful in there, I try to get the natural convection of the popcorn popper. You see how they're not really moving around all that much? That's why you got to shake them up. And as the beans start to warm up, the chaff will come off. The greatest part about the popcorn popper is the chaff blows away naturally. Kind of feels like Edward Scissorhands. After a certain point, the beans will start convecting on their own, and then you'll start hearing them go into what they call first crack. I take the colander off there and let the chaff fly. The beans have lost water weight, so they won't fly out of the expert stack that I put on there with that tomato can. So that's the first crack. It sounds like crackling popcorn. So after the beans are done with their first crack, they'll convect there for a little while longer, and then you'll start hearing second crack. With the popcorn popper, this all happens a lot faster than you would if you had a commercial roast or something where you could control temperature and airflow. So we'll hear second crack, which sounds like a crackling fire. All right, when the crackling fire happens, we take the beans off, unplug the popcorn popper, and we dump into our colander. All right. And then this is an important step right here. You want to cool these beans as fast as possible. So the way I like to do it is just pour them colander to colander. You can also use a fan, use a cold wind, bitter wind that blows. Now the popcorn popper is a pretty fun way to do it. The roast is like 3 minutes long, which is super fast. So it's not, standard like 12-minute coffee roasting, and there's no controlled cooling here. But hey, the unpretentious way to roast coffee is to just roast the coffee. If you want to get all sciencey about it, there's plenty of ways to do that too. But you want to cool these folks off here. So for $4, you get a popcorn popper. For 89 cents, you get a 29-cent can of tomatoes. You get to eat them, and then you get to use the can with some screws you find lying around. And you grab your wife's really nice Pampered Chef colander set and destroy it by putting it on top of a coffee roaster. And then she buys a new one, and then you have a whole set of 3 colanders to use for all kinds of things. You want these to cool off here. They do have a sheen, that's the natural oil. So you pop them in there, let them dance around, convect a while, you lose the chaff. Beans turn a little bit more brown, you lose some more chaff. You hear the really hard popping, which is the first crack. And when you go into that second crack, it sounds like a campfire, and you're about ready to take them off. There's a whole bunch more science and stuff that goes into it. But hey, the unpretentious way. Just roast the coffee and enjoy it. So there you have it. The quick, cheap, easy, what I think is one of the most unpretentious ways to have fresh roasted coffee at home right then and there.